Hello again, YouTube. Thank you and welcome back to another Jongcast. My name is Ryan, and today we're going to talk about a few things. First things first. I topped a regional. I came second at a regional. It was 110 players, which is incredible for supposedly dead game, dying game, people priced out of the game. Um, I just think where I live in Melbourne, Australia, the community is pretty healthy and there's lots of locals and lots of different groups, and it can be like funny little local battles, territorial battles, but it's all in good fun. But yeah, that was like 110 people, 7 rounds, so it was quite refreshing to like play one of those tournaments after such a long time. Um, because people forget that often, like Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been thinking about this in regards to Master Duel recently, in that perhaps Master Duel is the correct way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because you just get such a large sample size, but most importantly, you just get a large games versus random people, right? Because if you just stick to your local community, often it can affect your decision making, affect your deck building. Things can get monotonous, and then I often find I perform better when I just play versus random people or people I don't frequently play against, which is what happened at this regional. Because they can't really, if they don't really know who you are that well, lots of preconceived biases and judgments can, interfere with decision making. So I think that's a big plus. In terms of the deck I played in question, I played YUBEL Azamina. And I wish I had more to say on this deck, but I'll try and flesh it out as much as I possibly can. I'll try to flesh it out. I played this at a locals a few days prior to the event, which is here. The only difference from the main deck was I played a pre-race map instead of a third Grave Squirmer. I put an IP into my extra deck because I needed something good to link off the Witch and the Azamina fusion with. And side decks, I don't really discuss side decks because side decks kind of fit into the philosophy of, while I think the game is healthy, it's very healthy right now. Lots of things are viable and can win. It is very random. There's a lot of variance. You can't really solve it, and arguably the only way you can solve it is you need to just lean into it. You need to just play a diverse spread of cards, a wide range of cards. Make sure your engine is fully fleshed out and strong, and then you can just play one-ofs. Um, Thrust helps you with the one-ofs. Molchamis help you with the one-ofs, just so you have a wide spread, and you just not aim to get lucky per se, but you just want to be able to be well equipped to face versus anything. That's my logic of side decks. And that's really like the logic of this format. Like it is very enjoyable. It's very enjoyable, and Ubel is has a bad reputation at the moment for being weak to many cards, which it is. It is weak to it is weak to the Mulch armies. It is weak to the Impulse, like other decks are. But also, it's still very like skill checky, and I wouldn't even call it skill. There's just a lot of rules. When you play against Ubel, there's a lot of rules of things you should and you shouldn't do, and it seems like my opponents just forgot things that they should and shouldn't do versus Ubel. And mainly I will contribute mainly my deck construction and the cards that I played as the reason why I topped. But I'd also say it's this again, this other thing about Yu-Gi-Oh that we often forget is that you're meant to just play a lot of games, large sample size, misplay happens, fatigue happens, um, marathoning through an event. It can really just comes down to who makes less mistakes, who capitalizes on their opponent's mistakes, or yeah, who just remains the most calm in the clutch. And I like to think about Yu-Gi-Oh misplays in terms of like a percentage, because you can be very black and white, say this is objectively the best play, this is the worst play. You can really get to the minutia of it as well. I prefer to think of it like that. I use like percentages where it's like, I made the 70% play, which is, it's a bit of a weird way to frame it, but it's like 70% of the time that should be the winning play, 80%, 90%. Often you just have to make these calls because there are hand traps for every situation. There's top deck board breakers for almost every situation. Unless you're perfection, absolute, everything factored in, game shot, lethal on board, it's very rarely 100%. So what I mean by this is that I would say where I would be probably consistently doing the range of like the 70 to the 90% plays. My opponents were doing like probably the 10 to the 20% plays. Um, in like in those like very interesting game states where they just don't really know the rules of UBEL or things that you should and shouldn't do. Um, Again, not to discredit my opponent because this is my opponents because this is a very complicated skill set. It's what pretty much determines very good from mid to good players. Just the ability to just keep those decision makings going consistently throughout an entire day. Super, super, super important. Okay. So about the deck itself. Why Azamina? The synergies are very, very minute, honestly. It's more of like a standalone engine. The part of this deck I wanted the most was I wanted Dominus Impulse. And this is crazy. We're in like 2024, it's like I don't play Fiendsmith cards, as you can see, because I didn't want to have that confliction in my deck. I didn't want to have the light monsters with the Impulse, and Fualos is different, of course, but and I won so many games thanks to Dominus Impulse. And then just thinking, I always thought to myself, if I was playing a standard deck with Fiendsmith, maybe Veilers, Ogres, Drolls, I don't think they would have been as effective or as game defining as Dominus Impulse. So that's the entire reason why I played this deck. And I also played it because, to be honest, the fire decks, I really enjoy them and making the decisions. But I had a bad locals experience with a Fire King deck, and it just put me off. And then I'm just thinking, and I just let the universe tell me what to play, and the universe was like, play Yubel. I've never played it in a in a high level event, so it was quite nice. And I've developed newfound affection and loyalty towards my beloved Yubel. Um, anyway, so Deception and Witch and Wanted in this deck, they're mainly just there to, I guess, send heavy big U-bells out of your hand. It's often quite good just like putting them in the graveyard because obviously you fuse for Phantom later, but putting them in the graveyard you can revive them off opening, revive them off Grave Squirmer. I played Capshell. It's a 0/0 fiend. It's searchable from Nightmare Throne. You contribute it with Deception to draw a card. You can also, when it's linked with, it's one of my favorite cards. It's been consistent. I've used this card for like 2 years now, pretty much since like I played like Dark Sprite with Dark Beckoning Beast and Capshell. It's honestly I was sad in this tournament I didn't draw off this card once. I think I used it to fuse once for a Phantom really early, but and it's a card you usually side out one of it or you side out both of it in the next game. So it's kind of my fault I didn't draw off him. I let him down. But I think that theory is solid. 50 card, should it be 50? Look, I can't say, man. Um, you probably could play more pre-race map, maybe play two pre-race map. Originally, it's like one tactics was a second pre-race map, but I felt it was fine. I only really severely bricked once, and it's not even a brick, but it had a witch in it. It's not a brick. I can't call opening a witch a brick, but if your Azamina card gets stopped, then it's a brick. Um, and I opened this silly opening of the Spirit Gates. Konami, what did you do to me? Why did you limit this card? And I really wish I played a Chaos Summoning Beast, but you just can't justify it. Maybe you can. I would have. There were several games where if I had a 51st card, Chaos Summoning Beast, because I kept drawing opening. Like I felt like I opened opening more than I opened Nightmare Throne. It was painful, very, very, very painful. But you're still playing to an extent when you have opening. It's such a valuable card. Just being able to discard and revive. So yeah, simply put, guys, just played Yubel because I felt like it. The universe told me to, and I wanted to play Dominus Impulse. And then I had a good synergy. You want to play like a good other engine that's not Fiendsmith, and Azamina fulfills that. Another small synergy is you can Nightmare Throne. You can Nightmare Pain Black Witch, and you can Nightmare Pain the Azamina fusions, and they do search their cards. I do play a Sinful Spells Trap, the Slumber Morion, which is just a Book of Moon for special summon monster. You can reset it out of your graveyard if you control a level 5 or higher illusion. It's this really nice self-contained combo, which just means like your Deception Wanted Witch is just it's like a 2 interaction every time. Very simple, very effective. You just try to like overload interaction to just distract from your Unchained Soul of Rage, which is your best card. I wanted to play Escape because I just wanted a nice all-rounder deck. I didn't want to all in on like combo matchups because I was concerned about Tempai and Runic Stun at this tournament. Um, yeah, the extra deck feels very nice. It's very good to have like a nice loose extra deck without needing to play Fiendsmith cards. Dark the Dark Charmer especially is super strong in this deck because you can take advantage of the um, your enemy fire decks playing Witch because Witch is just this broken super strong card now. Um, which is very, very nice to have. My end board was pretty much the standard Rage, Escape, Varudorous Phantom. Sometimes you had IP as well. You can combo IP and Soul of Rage because you use Soul of Rage into Anguish. You can IP into SP. Some matchups you actually IP into Phoenix. And then or you could like you can very easily get like a co-link with these as well if you've got like a muckraker on the board, because sometimes you want to pop Deceptions or the Sunken Field spell. There's many examples of things you want to pop with Nightmare Phoenix, but did not regret that. And yeah, side deck is the side deck, just one ofs to take advantage of the variance of the format. So yeah, highly recommend this deck. I guess another controversial thing is like the 3 spirit, but this is a very hard thing I can't quantify. I can't like mathematically quantify it or defend it. It's this feeling based thing where you win a lot of games because you have the ability to make Phantom early and just randomly out of nowhere catch your people off guard. Um, I think Spirit's never bad to draw. There, I said it. I like having Spirit in my hand a lot. It's just how I feel about playing Yubel. It just feels good. Um, it just makes your Grave Squirmer such a stronger card because Samsara, the Lotus, has this target on it where your opponent doesn't really want to ever let it go. So 3 Spirit, I'm a big fan. Maybe give it a shot. Um, if you're aggressive like me, and you like making Phantom. Probably should play 3 Phantom. Like in a like a lower, less power level, harder to OTK version of Yubel. Probably wise to play 3 Phantom. I just only own 2. Um, what would you cut? Probably cut Nightmare Phoenix or Dark Charmer. Totally fine. Chaos Angel, incredible card. Helps you actually clear boards because you can banish, you can revive it off Muckraker, banish again in the same turn, overlay it for Varudrus. It just applies a lot of pressure when you play Fiendsmith, and when you play Yubel with no Fiendsmith, you lack a lot of board clearing offensive pressure. So yeah, awesome. Second place regional. Very happy to earn my invite, get some cool prizes, and now I can, truly, I got a lot of OTS championships coming up, which is very exciting. So that's cool. I'm gonna play some absolute abomination of decks, absolute abominations. All right, cool. So that's that done. Yeah, very similar. You know, I played yeah, as I said, I played it a few days previously at a locals, and it's very unusual for me to actually do that. But I actually had that testing. I actually tested this quite a lot. Shout out to my rank one buddy, my rank one neuron buddy Jonah, because I actually got to test this like in like a testing environment, which I don't usually do. Which again helped me, lean towards that deck. So kudos to him. And so moving on to our regularly like scheduled programming of like decks that I've played at locals and thoughts on the format and such. Um, these are kind of the 2 Fire King decks that sort of put me off. Like originally I was gonna play a Fire deck like this. Um, this one, for example, is 60 cards with Kashtira in it. I probably shouldn't play Dominus Impulse in this deck. My brain completely turned off because I'm playing Kashtira with this. But honestly, in that tournament, I went 3-1 at this tournament. It didn't matter at all. It never came up once that they conflicted, which is good. Um, But this is the Raid Raptor Arsenal Falcon combo where you can, say for example, like Fire King Island and a Kashtira Fenrir is full combo, which is unusual to hear, but it is true. I should have probably played a Kashtira Rise Heart. Um, Kashtira Rise Heart is a fire, so I did that did come up once, and you could even play a rank 4 if you did that. Like Abyss Dweller is very good, very strong card, so definitely a part of that. Um, this deck felt really, really, really good. I just have I really like the normal Fire King Kirin because I think this deck, I played heavier fire count because I wanted to take advantage of the Final Bringer of the End Times as well as the Arsenal Falcon combo, because the ability to just summon Volcanics out of your deck and then immediately turn that into like a full combo. And then because you play Fire King Avatar Kirin, you can just send like a Snake Eye card to the graveyard and invite it back off Promethean Princess later. So yeah, you have completely random hands of nothing and suddenly they're full combo. Um, I mean, Set Rotation is a very good card that you can play if you play out the field spell. Very good in mirror matches. In terms of the non-engine of this deck, there's not enough. There should be 3 Ash Blossom for sure. I didn't. I kind of underestimated the Molch armies in this tournament. I didn't realize that. I thought I could get away with it, but it was wrong. I could not get away with it. And you kind of just want to have Ash Blossom anyway because it's fire. Um, there'd be some very easy adjustments in this deck to fit that in. You would have to take out Dominus Impulse. You probably would have to play like 3 Droll and 3 Ash somewhere, but you have to make sure to leave in like the Final Bringer and the droplets, or maybe replace droplet with something else. But I think there's like a number where you sort of 60 card decks. I think to be hyper competitive at the moment, you would probably need like a 18 hand trap spread, or you need like maybe 12 or 15 hand trap with maybe 3 to 6, talent or droplet, or final bringer of the end times. This card is like the ultimate all-rounder card. It's the card that you wish just existed forever, but you just want a quick play spell that just destroys anything. If that card existed with like no drawback, wow, incredible. Because this is what really can just help you. Because it's good going first, good going second, deals with problematic matchups, dodges Veiler imperms. And honestly, I don't draw it enough, and I wish I could draw it more because I still feel like I haven't seen this card's full power yet, which disappoints me. Um, I played that Fire King deck, and then I played a more like standard 50 card Fire King deck. But I just felt like I was just losing all the hand trap mini games, and it made me depressed. And so then I moved on to YUBEL, and I topped with YUBEL. Awesome. Um, yeah, I guess the important lesson, guys, is to just don't just go with the obvious best deck. Test things out, make some decisions, and then go with your gut or go with what the universe tells you. Because I didn't decide to play YUBEL until like midnight of the day of the day prior. So yeah, cool. Now we're gonna get into the more, I mean, eccentric stuff. Other cool decks that I've played. Let me zoom in a little bit on this image. I don't know why I can't zoom in further. So I went really hard on like on the weekend prior to that regional. I went really hard on like Primite cards, especially one of my favorite cards in the game, Ib, the World Chalice Justicia. Um, I love this card very much, and I've played a lot of decks when it got unbanned. This is like my Sprite version. Why do I play Sprite with it? Well, it's very easy to combo like a level 2 with a level 3 to make it. For example, you can use any World Chalice normal monster as the tuner to make Ib. So you're chosen by the World Chalice. You can summon it off Primate Raw, you can summon it off E-Telly, Die. You have so many ways to like summon it out of your deck. Then you like normal summon level 2, you summon a Sprite, and then you're just insulated and you go full combo. And your end board is fearsome. Your end board is nuts. Um, Again, you ask yourself, what is the point in doing this than over regular Sprite? The point is you end on cards like World Legacy Sorrow, which is a counter trap. If you have a co-linked monster, it's just an Omni Negate, so that insulates you from all the board breaker fiends and devils out there. You end on Lib on your end board as well, so when you use IP and you link it off for Lib, then you go into SP. Lib is a non-target shuffle back to the deck. Like, it's crazy. And you just play this. This just has so many cool monsters. Like Lion, Ringo, any deck that has Ringo Worm, amazing. Mathematician, mathematicians, full combo because you can send Carbonite, you can send Plague Spreader, you can summon a Vanilla off that. It is a bit of a choke point, but I think there's just enough extenders. Like, you have to have Mathematician, and then you have to draw it alongside one of the spells to like really make it like insulated, so it doesn't just get hand trapped and you die. Other than that, yeah, great. I had a blast playing this. I went 3-1 at that locals, but I don't think my opponents were very, difficult. But again, result-based analysis aside, I don't care if I win or lose. I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say win or lose, but it was cool. It was cool. The deck worked. It definitely worked, which is what I'm looking for. Could it work better? It could be 50. It could be 50 cards, yeah, for sure. I do play a lot of cards like Mecha Fanabase or Lion just because it's cool. It lets you, you can actually like, find some very creative ways to make IB like that. Because you get the level 3 token, and then you get any level 2 tuner can make this. Like you can say like not have a vanilla. You can have like any 2 sprites. Like you can go Beaver into Angler, then you can go Link 2 into Sprint that are allowing it a level 3 token, and then if you have Ringo Worm in your hand, there you go, you make your IB. Wow. You play like Gravity Controller because you put IB in the EMZ, and then you link it off Gravity Controller, which will summon you a vanilla off the IB, and IB searches the World Chalice, and then you link the vanilla off into Imduk, get the additional normal summon off the Imduk, tribute the Gravity Controller for the World Chalice, and then you link one that into Almirage, trigger the World Chalice, and then you summon Lee and you summon whatever. And that's pretty much the main synergy. Like, you just summon level 2s off your IB, so why not play Sprite? It just smooths out really well. And then the next deck. Oh, this deck gave me pain. But it's so, I mean, this just goes down again to some Yu-Gi-Oh philosophy. I don't know why this is 14 cards. I think it was a mistake. I just drew incredibly badly with this deck. I went like 1-3. I should have gone like 2-2. I just made like a sequencing error, but that just goes down to the play the decks on the day of, I've never played this deck before until I play it once. So this is, and I drew this Tech Janus Screw Serpent more times than any other card in my deck, which just can't happen. And like in terms of 60 cards, it's just a statistical anomaly. And then I also had games where I just drew like 3 Snake Eye one-offs that again I just can't draw. And then when you look at holistically all the power spells that you should be drawing that I wasn't drawing, um, anyway, important not to get overfixated because it's easy to like jump to conclusions and say, "Wow, this deck sucks. I did bad at my tournament." But I'm like, no, I think this deck is good. This deck has some push. It's got some of the strongest push I've ever seen. Some of the fiercest combos. Like your one card witch combo in this deck is unbelievable. Um, and then like the previous deck was around level 2 and level 3. This is an IB deck around level 1 and level 4. Again, held together by the Primite cards and held together by like Die we're after. But then what are good level ones? Snake Eyes are good level ones. Bonfire is one of the best extenders in the game. Like I can normal summon a vanilla, I can bonfire into Poplar, and my end board is ridiculous. My end board is crazy. In many ways, this end board is better than the previous because you end on cards like Promethean in your grave, Ambler Whale as well, because your end board, you actually leave the Helmirage on the end board, so you can like pop it with your princess, and then you can Ambler Whale off the destruction of the Almirage. It's nuts. Like the amount of interaction you have, crazy. But oh, the agony when you draw all the bricks, and it's like I have to say, like people overuse the term brick a lot, and you need to like have a lot of bricks to make a house, guys. You have to build a house, you need some bricks. And then objectively speaking, there are not many cards in this deck I actually consider bricks because you need to think about it in terms of I can outside of like I can't even call like Snake Idea, Bellstar, Flamberge bricks because sometimes you send them off Witch and that's the way you win. And you tribute them with Deception. The only one is like Screw Serpent. I can't really draw this. Like in theory, it's a level 4 tuner. If you have like Bonfire, you can Bonfire for the one, and then you normal this, and you can make it. But most things in this deck, I don't even can consider bricks. Like everything will work with another card if you have the other card, that is. But then you have to have pairings. But yeah, incredible deck. Super cool. I love playing combo decks like this that are very free flowing and freestyle. Like you have very strong isolated one card combos and all that, but it's more just the you just push that all into your opponent. They don't really know what you're doing, and then you use that to your advantage. Your end board is crazy, and like having just Ib and gravity control, it's really hard to like stop because even if you interact with the Ib, then you just link it off for gravity controller. And then the more I played these sort of decks, I'm like, I should just play pure World Chalice with three World Chalice and like Primite because I'm just like, wow, this is so easy to get off, um, mainly because of Imduk. But then the question is with that, like when you resolve a powerful card like the World Chalice cards, it's almost like what do you do? You can do everything in the game. You have to make a choice. And I feel like if you're not like doing some super degenerate FTK or Unbreakable Board, you're not doing it right, which is again kind of boring. It's kind of boring. And not that cool. I like to be able to just like make choices and say this is what I'm going for with my like combo deck. But anyway, moving on. I don't want to talk too much about this deck because this deck was just a meme. It's a bit of a failure. Heliotrope was pretty cool. This deck just goes off the like Primite Lordly Load can make like many rank 4s that are like really good on their own, but in 2024 they're not that good on their own. And again, with this deck, I just drew so bad. I don't understand why I drew so bad. I'm just not good enough to draw Shifter when I need it. I'm just not good enough. Um, but maybe when Seventh Tachyon comes out, and like honestly, Right Seal comes out, because you play this sort of stuff with Right Seal, and you can just play like Primite with like a few vanillas to make like some cool rank 4s, but you need to really be backed up by your Right Seal. And honestly, if you're gonna play like anti-meta version of this, probably better just to play the Pacifist deck, which I'm actually very excited to play. I'm very keen to play Pacifist. Um, and there's some other more aggressive, more aggressive um, Primite decks that I want to play as well, like anti-meta Primites. I've got some very cool ideas coming, so hopefully they come to fruition. I don't want to get too fixated on this one. I just want to put this one put this one back where it belongs. Okay, and then the last recipe in this video. Let's zoom in a little bit. So I've been working on in the background for a long time, like for a couple of weeks, a lot of different Dragon Link decks. Because Dragon Link is one of my favorite like archetypes or playstyles ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever since Dragon Ruler, really, but Dragon Link was also it. And then there's a lot of synergy between Dragon Link and Centurion, and because I lost to someone in Master Duel who did it to me, who went like this full rocket combo, and then it's like, oh, he can't do much else from this point. And then he went into Centurion Auxiliar, and he did a lot. So I was very impressed. And the level 4 Centurion, I think it's Atri, is a level 4 Dark Dragon tuner. So that's pretty cool. But what the hell is this deck? What is this deck? This is like Sinful Spoils, Hieratic, Bestial, Centurion, Dragon, Primite. Yeah, it was so overwhelming. I can't really take my results from that tournament seriously. There were lots of things wrong with many of that rounds where they just weren't really played properly by both parties. But other than that, the deck worked really well. I just made so many mistakes with the Centurion cards because first time playing Centurion cards can be it's very difficult. It's very, very, very overwhelming. And you just make the wrong level 12. I probably shouldn't have played the Gen X guy. I should have just played another Cosmic Blazer, because I actually found myself making too many level 12s and then not having a Crimson Dragon go into anything else. But that all comes in time about management. Um, this deck's just like you need like eights, sixes, fours. The Blue Eyes White Dragon or like a level 8 dragon, some of the Primite was absolutely correct because with any level 4 tuner, um, yeah, you go straight into Oxala, which is like full combo now. Same with Primera Primus, the level 8 Synchro. That card is incredibly broken. It's really, really, really strong. Um, your like Witch into OSS into Flamvell Guard does that card on its own, so you can full combo off a Witch sometimes. But I actually won a lot of games as well, just from like, Primite Roar, Blue. Like, I would just have like Primite Roar, Drill Beam, a Spheres on the field, a Hand Trap, like an Ash or something. I won a lot of games like that, which I'm like, this is cool. I'm definitely going to try a much more conservative, like Dragon Link deck that's just more about like Primite and Vanilla. I might try and make like another Ib deck, another World Chalice deck that uses Primite and like Alexandrite Dragon and World Legacy Guard Dragon and all that stuff. Seems like to have great synergies. I just need to work out the end boards a little better before I can play that. But like this deck's like two card combo, for example. So just like a very simple two card combo of like Deception, and this card says tribute, so you tribute Heretics, and then when you tribute Heretics, you can summon Vanillas out of your deck. Which in this case, you summon a Labradorite Dragon, which is a level 6 tuner. So you can see like level 6 tuner and level 6 monsters with the Azamina and the Bestials. You go straight into your Centurion level 12s. There's a lot like a very new, very powerful like access of synchro monsters. I think that's probably the best way to play like these sort of combo decks now moving forward. I'm even thinking like maybe use something with like Horus and level 4 tuners. Like if only Naturia Sacred Tree was at 3, you could do like some really cool like Horus Naturia Centurion. That's a cool deck as well. I'm thinking of more like Primite ideas as well, like Primite Horus level 4 tuners. I got to look into it a bit more. Then maybe heavier rocket, because this deck honestly doesn't need the rockets. It's only playing like 3 quick launch and a tuner and a non-tuner to help you go into your synchro plays a bit easier. But I think these cards shine in like a more focused deck where you have Abzerata, where you have Ravine, where you have Boot Sector Launch, and there's like a billion different ways to like you know go from not much to go into like a full Centurion combo in Dragon Link if you try hard enough with those cards. So that's cool. Um, so yeah, basic 2 card combo I'm going for. You end on like an incredible field. Like this combo, you draw 3. You have your full setup. You haven't used Phalanx yet. Like this is the end phase, like placement of these. You have another draw on the next turn. You have another synchro on the next turn, and you also have it normal summoned as well. So like if you actually have like any dragon to summon here, you just summon that dragon, you go into spheres, then you just phalanx revive back the auxilia. Great. Or you just like you could even just like link off Legacia, go into IP, and then phalanx summon back the Legatia for a pop. It's pretty nice. Like it's such a comprehensive, cool thing, but I just wasn't familiar with a lot of the stand-up Centurion intricacies. I feel like I could never really do the Chaos Angel thing I know that I should be doing, but I just didn't really have the setup required. Really excited to play this deck again, though. I have a big fan of these Centurion cards now. They're better than what I thought. I think I'm gonna play like this exact deck, but just like make it closer to 40 and cut out like the Heretic engine and the Sinful Spores engine, because and then just play like Centurion Bestial Primite. I think that sounds like a very strong foundation of a deck. Yeah. Well, guys, I don't want to continue talking for too much longer because I'm actually getting a bit fatigued. But yeah, I hope you enjoy my discussion on the state of Yu-Gi-Oh right now, my regional experience, and the deck list that I've played. Hopefully, I've given you some inspiration and that you can enjoy yourself. Yu-Gi-Oh is in this very cool place right now where while it is a lot of variance and a lot of issues still exist, and a lot of non-games, especially Tenpai, Runic Stun, I honestly think it's a good thing. In a sense, in a sense, it's a good thing because it just gives you more ways to play the game, and more ways to play the game brings the people, and hopefully that can improve. I think it will improve even further when Malice and Rightseal come out in the TCG, because I don't think those decks are overwhelming in terms of power level. I think they will slot right in. I think they will slot right in. All right, thank you guys. Peace out, and thank you so much.